welcome back to the channel. My name is Lindy Jung. I am a speculative fiction writer and I vlog about my life as a writer, writing in general, books, whatever else I feel like talking about. Welcome to another installment of I'm currently unemployed, so I'm actually able to focus on writing lately, so I've been just doing a bunch of different little vlogs here and there. So it's currently September 17th, it is the weekend, and I figured I'd just kind of focus on writing a little bit more. I spent most of the week focusing on my grad school applications, which is writing, but not in the sense of like things that people actually want to see, or I don't know, maybe you do. Not in my usual sense. It's not the usual content here is what I'm trying to say. And I figured I'd take you guys along on a little sort of writing focused weekend. I'm trying to unwind a little, decompress. A little precursor, I know that I've been doing a novel writing sort of vlog series for the summer. I'm taking a bit of a break from that just because I've been turning my attention to short stories lately and I've really been enjoying that. So it is going to be a mix of short stories and working on that novel, and also video editing because I'm just trying to keep on top of that while I can. So yeah, that's going to be this weekend, a very creative weekend. I'm also going to go out and eat some food and stuff and go to a little fun market, so I figured I'd show you guys that as well. It is currently 2 p.m. so I'm getting a little bit of a late start. But I think I'm just gonna go dive right into finishing up a short story that I started this week, getting that draft done, maybe looking over it and sending it out to people. I think that's gonna be my prerogative for this afternoon before I go out to eat with my friend. And then we'll see if I can get a little bit of my young adult fantasy written, drafted. I am still feeling very, very iffy about that project, I won't lie. It has been a struggle finding the motivation to work on it, especially now that I have these short stories that are so much more fulfilling because you can write them in like a couple weeks and be done with them, versus a novel is obviously a much longer time commitment. It's a lot more work and thought and just intricacy. Not that short stories aren't work, just in terms of how much more you have to put into it because of the higher word count. Yeah, definitely not been feeling that as much, but I think I will make an effort to work on that this weekend just to get back into the flow of things, because I do have a limited amount of time before I have to leave the country. Like, I need to get something accomplished on that front, otherwise I'm just gonna feel like really weird and like I haven't accomplished anything that I need to get done while I'm away. I don't know, I just kind of want to have something to show for it at this point. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to actually finish editing this other vlog that I filmed earlier this week, and it's like almost done anyway. I basically just need to put some music over some clips and then schedule it so I can show you guys a little bit of that, because I don't really show like the behind the scenes YouTube stuff. Lately I've been putting more effort into editing my videos, which is like still not a lot of effort. I'm thinking a little bit more creatively like I used to when I first started out and had a ton of energy. I don't know where that went. I will be finishing that up and then probably wrapping up the short story just so I can get things done. And then I'm going to finish editing this vlog that I just mentioned, film this vlog continuously throughout the weekend, finish the first draft of my Wisteria short story, finish reading Heart of the Sun Warrior, which is a book I'm currently reading by Sue Lin Tan as an ARC, and then write another video script. I don't really write scripts, just outlines for the sort of like writing advice type videos that I do, and then film another one of those videos so that I have one ready to edit. I have one that I filmed I think yesterday that's like ready to edit, but I won't work on that yet just because I'm working on this vlog. I try to edit one video at a time, even though I specifically got a computer with like a huge amount of storage so I could multitask. Just because it gets overwhelming and I feel like a lot of details slip by if I'm not focused on the one video. Okay, so we are ready to go. That is everything, and I will see you guys in a little bit. After I finished up my indoor work, I decided to get a jump start on writing by taking a notebook and a pen and heading outside for a little bit into my yard just to write a little bit away from screens. This turned out to be a failed experiment because my dog has like a hyperfixation on playing fetch, and she started harassing me while I was outside, so I had to pack it up and go inside. After a bit more writing, I ended up going out with my friend and getting that horrible, god-awful, hot Cheeto-encrusted sushi burrito and ate it completely on my own. And that was pretty much my day. Hi and welcome back. It is a new day, so it is Sunday, about 1 p.m. because I've had sort of a late start. Last night I had that horrible sushi burrito and then I promptly stopped doing anything productive because it just took all of the productive energy out of my body with every bite. I actually ended up going to a friend's house, like having a social night instead. So yeah, not a lot got done, but today I'm also not gonna be that productive, I think, but I'm gonna try and smash out some of these goals because I am going to like a little night market in a couple hours. So in a couple hours I'll be heading out for the day, but I have a little bit of time to finish some of these things, which is finish this draft finally, and then there's a couple of things that I feel like I won't be getting to this weekend, but I can do another time, and they're mostly video things because I'm pretty caught up on YouTube stuff. Yeah, finishing the first draft of that short story and then working on the first chapter of the book I've been neglecting. But I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit more about like my internal process. I think I talk a lot about like, here's my to-do list, here's what I'm tackling or what I'm working on, very much in terms of like surface level things and just what I am actively doing, if that makes sense, versus like what I'm thinking about, what I'm ruminating about, because a lot of writing, when it boils down to it, is thinking. And I've been considering a lot like what, in terms of this short story, like what sort of tone I want to set for it and what my goals are. At the end of the day, for me, one of the biggest breakthroughs I had in terms of writing was I don't want to write anything if I don't have anything to say. And so trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here is, I have the fun concept, I have the cute setting, I have like pretty turns of phrase, but what am I trying to get across? I think it's a lot about like taking your opportunities, not waiting for your life to start, but actually going for it, if that makes sense at all. I think that is ultimately what this is going to be about, because in this short story, I think in general, in terms of like the short stories that I think of, like a lot of the time the protagonist tends to be rather passive. There's a time and place for passive protagonists, and that just seems to crop up a little bit more in short stories from what I experience. I could be completely off the mark, but there's definitely more of a place to, like focus less on the arc and the growth of the character that you're telling the story through and more on a specific event that's happening or a setting or something like a concept, just because I feel like when I think of character writing, it's you want to take your time with it, you want to really like have them shuffle along in their growth arc, and it just lends itself more to a full novel versus something a little shorter. So with this, I was thinking about how to condense that down, because I do have a passive protagonist, but her passivity is actually like a flaw. It's something that she has to overcome in the course of this, because her dissatisfaction in her life comes from her passivity. It comes from her thinking like, woe is me, the world is out to get me and I can't do anything about it, but that isn't necessarily the case. And so she gets the one thing she wants, which here is she actually hasn't had her first kiss and she wants to get that. But she ends up, getting what she wants. Not to spoil it, why did I just get an email from Domino's Pizza? So I want to think a little bit more about how I can make that internal journey correlate with her external journey throughout this piece, as short as it is. That is definitely something to think about. I'm really excited that I'm able to like tackle theme on a smaller scale in this way with short form fiction. I think that's one of the things that has appealed to me the most. It's like you don't have to drag it out across like a whole book. I really love obviously thinking about theme, but it is hard to make that work for a longer form story. Like you can't always have everything relate back to it. That's pretty much impossible unless you want to write like a pedantic essay about philosophy or whatever. I mean, it's almost like Aesop's fables, right? It's not quite a one-to-one thing, but those do boil down to depicting a theme with a short anecdote that gets that across. That's what the moral of those stories are. So it is almost like that. Like I'm approaching these very much like modern fables to start with. I feel like that's a good jumping off point for me. I actually have vivid memories of doing like a 6th grade English project on Aesop, so it's all coming full circle, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just a little bit what's on my mind right now, just thinking about theme and condensing theme into short little stories and making this work. I still haven't decided what route I'm gonna take with this in terms of like what I'm gonna do after it's done. The thing is, I do have this evil little piece of me that I think is very common in a lot of like young writers who obviously haven't been published yet, so you know, we want recognition for our work, but at the same time I know that as much as I enjoy this and I've enjoyed writing it, I just don't think it's up to par for any sort of magazine. I think I will like disperse it amongst my friends just to get practice on, you know, like getting feedback, working on that feedback, that sort of thing, but I really think it would be a bad move to like send it anywhere in hopes of publication. I think that would really like hurt my feelings, basically. The only thing being that I do have that evil instinct. And also I do need money, like, you know, sending to magazines, and even if you get picked up, you're not gonna get paid that much. But it's like, ooh, the urge to get like monetary compensation for my work is so strong because I just haven't gotten it this whole time. I think the more likely route I'll end up taking is just sort of putting it onto my travel blog, actually, which already like is not really a travel blog, but it's more like anecdotal, short form stuff. Most of it is actually personal essays, which I haven't really talked about this blog before because it's kind of like a diary. It's like very personal, and I don't think the writing on there is my best work at all. But yeah, I think this might be a good place for it, even though it is like completely fiction, it's fantasy. I would obviously just put a little caveat. I don't know. It's just some place to put it up there, have it read, because I think for me a huge part of why I write is to have my stuff be read by other people and like interact with not a community but readers, and just sort of like see what's working, what's not working, like that conversation, getting that feedback even outside of like the beta reader stage. It's super important to me, and it's a huge reason of why I continue to write in the face of adversity. Okay, so that's my little update. I'm gonna go ahead and keep writing and hopefully wrap this story up before I have to go to the market, which I guess I'll film a little bit of. I'm just mostly gonna be eating horrible food concoctions, but it'll be fun. I'll be with my friends. So I'll update you guys again in a little bit.
Sorry.
Hello. Excuse the crappy camera quality. I am filming on my phone because honestly I can't be bothered to set up my camera right now, and the lighting's gonna be bad anyway, so what is the point? I just got back. It's late, so get ready for bed. I think I'm not gonna continue writing or anything like that. I do usually write a little bit before I go to bed. I'm very much hitting the end of this story. I had the chance. I've been out all day. So tired. I haven't had the chance to work on the book at all, so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, maybe type in some words for that, maybe read some of my arcs. I'm currently still reading Heart of the Sun Warrior by Sue and Tan. I also got an audiobook arc of Last of the Talons by Sophie Kim, I want to say, which is a young adult inspired by like Korean mythology that I was really excited about, but I have been listening to it while falling asleep. Like I just hit play and then I fall asleep and I wake up and it's like 20 chapters and so I think I have to like start over and listen to it from the beginning because I have processed none of it. That's what I'm reading right now. I would like to read some stuff today. I can barely keep my eyes open. I'd like to write some stuff today, but I can barely keep my eyes open, so we'll just have to see. And anyway, I'm gonna get ready for bed And then I will give you guys a more coherent update / wrap up tomorrow.
I washed my hair today and it looks like a broomstick because I haven't been able to find any of my leave-in or whatever else. It's all just sort of like out in the garage. Okay, so it is like 5 o'clock on Monday, but I just finished writing the first draft of the short story, so officially in the editing stage. That took me a little bit over a week, I think, to actually draft out. Yeah, I am actually really glad that I was able to get it finished and just sort of like wrap up this vlog. I know it's not technically the weekend anymore, but I just wanted to give you guys a little update to give this a happy ending. My thoughts on it are it definitely needs a little bit of polishing, to the surprise of no one. You know, a little bit of revision, natural, of course. I think I'm going to like go over it a couple of times and just tighten it before I send it out to anyone for feedback. And I do think I'm just gonna throw it onto my blog just to have it out there, just so it's, you know, if anyone's curious about it. And then you guys can read my writing if you want to, but that won't be for a couple more weeks, I assume. It might not even be until after I leave for Costa Rica, but once it's up, I will link it in whatever avenues that you subscribe to. I do have a Twitter account that you can follow. I'll also put it in my community tab, which I've never used before, but that seems like, you know, a solid resource, I guess, for those of you who only really follow me here, which is fine. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I finished the first draft of the story. I finished my first ever short story, so pretty excited about that, and I think it's like a pretty fun one. I don't think it's like the most meaningful, articulate, whatever, you know, it's my first go of it. Definitely some vibes there. It's also like gloriously sapphic, just, which I think is funny because I always end up like writing really gay shit when I go for romance. I don't know, I wonder why that might be. In any case, that is a wrap, so I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe or whatever. I hate saying that. I don't know, unsubscribe. I don't really care. One of the things I do appreciate though is if you check out my Ko-fi. I do need money because I'm unemployed. Not a lot. Like if you just enjoyed this video and you have a couple bucks to spare, that's basically my tip jar. I will link that below and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!